Okay, this is the last video on the fender flares. So they're on. I'm just going to try to recap what I've learned. Again, these are aftermarket flares from the parts place. And looking at that right there, I would put on the welting before you mount it. Also, the fender and the flares need to be put together, and then they'll suck up to each other to get the tightest fit possible. In other words, if you just lay them on there, there'll be gaps, but once you tighten it up, it'll be better and the best you can get. And the welting helps, which is that plastic trim, helps make it tighter. Now, as for down at the here, I'm just going to zoom in while I talk about it. Right there, on both sides, where the air dam, or I call it valance, fits. There's a bracket, but the bracket, it needs to be modified. So what I suggest is you bolt it to the, once you get the flares and the valance aligned the best you can, and you might have to make some adjustments. And again, everybody does things their own way, but what I did is I mounted that plastic bracket to one side, then I pushed the other, then I mounted it to the flare, then I kind of pushed the valance or air dam into place, then I drilled up through the hole that's in the valance to give me the hole location of the second hole, because the holes just didn't match. And then again, a recap, the only thing that holds this, what holds the flares on, is there's two bolts which you reach from the inside of the fender. What holds the valance on is it slips up under the bumper, if you look at my other video, and there's 3 bolts that hold it to the radiator support. The bolts, let's see, the bolts came with the flares, but not with the air dam valance. So I don't know what else there is to say about it. I'm just walking to the other side. Now I'm going to do a close up. That's the best I could get it, and I had to heat it up, so I'm going to have to kind of do some plastic flexible Bondo to make it even. I mean, I just couldn't do any better, no matter how hard I tried, so that's the best I can do. And then here's the plastic on the top. It's kind of a weird fit here. Again, I think you could heat that up with a heat gun and force it to stay where you want it to stay. Actually, when I force it up, it's coming loose, so maybe you're gonna have to put some weather stripping here. And that's it. So now I'm going to work on the hood to get it aligned better. So the problems I have right now, the main thing is you got to have an equal gap here and here on both sides. So if you look at this gap, again, this hood needs to slide forward, but I think that gap is about what it should be because of these rubber bumpers in here. So that's good on that side. This side could go a little bit more that way. This is the driver's side, but this gap here, see, my baby finger right there, and I'll go to the passenger side. It won't fit in. Now, even though I can slide the hood straight, either this fender needs to come out, this fender needs to come out this way, or this one needs to go that way. So it will move. But I have to take this back off the headlight trim, and I'm gonna have to somehow push it that way, or I come over here and pull this one this way. But what depends on that is how good it lines up here. So it actually looks like, just looking down at it, this is passenger side. It looks like it could come this way here. Let's look at the other side. And it looks like it could come this way too. But here I'm tight here. So I think I'm gonna have to somehow get this to come out. So anyway, I'm gonna work on this. And again, I can't, all you can do is what you can do, and it's hard to make videos on this kind of stuff, but there are bolts that hold these parts on, so you just loosen the bolts and try to push the parts around and make it line up to what you have. Again, the hood is a solid, so that can't be shrunk, but the fenders can be pushed out, or you can be pushed out this way, or that way, or in, or out, or up, or down. So, and then the last problem I got is, and I haven't figured out how to solve this one. This hood is high. Right there, this is the only spot. Well, from about here, this is passenger side, from about here to here. So I'm not really sure how to fix that. I mean, it looks like the hood should go down, or this has to come up. I just can't figure out how to, I don't know how to make that come up in the middle. So that's where I'm at. And then of course I got to do this, but I'm not going to do that until I get all this stuff straightened out. And I don't know if I showed you, but I hooked the come along here, and I pulled this fender out. Because I mean, you can't do it with you're just not strong enough to do it, at least not me. So I pulled it, and I might be able to pull it a little bit more. Okay, well, if anybody's interested, since I don't have any kind of frame machine or pulling machine, I do have this solid bench I built. So you can see the come along. I can either pull off the inside of this, open the hood, grab the radiator support, pull, and that'll pull the fender. Or I'm using a kicker with a wedge to push it that way. Because right now, I got this line good on the hood. I got this line good on the hood. This is the passenger side. I got 3/8. On this side I have a 1/16 over. I already picked up an 1/8. So now we'll go over and see how the door gap's doing. So here's the driver's door gap, and here's the passenger door gap. This is a hair bigger. So, I just don't get it. If I push this out more on the passenger side to make the gap equal to that side, I'll have a bigger gap. But if I push that side in towards the door, I'll have a smaller gap. Now, if we look at the gaps on this side of passenger, I mean, I could move the door a little bit. So now I'll go to the driver's door. I mean, I don't want to get any tighter than that. So I got to decide. All I need is it just occurred to me that I could also pick up a gap, pick up a 1/16 on that side by putting like a little shim in between the front nose and the fender. So I'm going to measure that and measure this one. Maybe that's how they did it at the factory. I mean, I don't know. So I'm going to measure those two, see if they're the same. Yeah, I think I found the discrepancy. If I measure right here, which I can tell where I am on the light, a little bit to this edge of these lines, I have 2 7/16 and 2 9/16. So anyway, I think that's interesting. So let me think about that. So now that I figured that out, I'm going to tighten down all these fender bolts back over there. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. I'll tighten down this one, the one in there, the 2 down there, and the one right here on both sides. And if I need to play with this, like I said, it didn't occur to me till now. I could, if I had to, I could shim this out just a hair, or I could sand this other one just a hair and make these, and then just pull the hood forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I think the door gaps are pretty good, so I don't want to mess with it anymore. It's got to go where it is. Okay, I got to walk around the car, but so I got these body shim assortment at Harbor Freight. There's a gap in here. I'm just scared if I tighten this down, it could suck this over, because there is a gap. So I'm just going to put some shims in here. I think that's what the shims are for. To pull this or push it in. It's a guess. So I'll just get 2 shims that fit in there. Or 1 shim. So I got a 1/8 and a 1/32. Let me see if I got a 16th. The 16th. Whatever fits in there. Damn, once they get in there, I can't get them out. A little bit more, I think. Come on, get out of there. Oh. I'm going to try 2/8. See what happens. Yeah, 2/8. That's just right. basing this off how the hood fit. I just don't want this to pull in. Anyway, you can put shims here. You can raise this up. This, again, I don't know the theory behind this, but I think it pulls this in and out. And then there's one more in the door, so that's what I want to be doing. Again, I'll just get everything as best I can, and that's going to be it. But I don't want to pull this brace loose until I get this tightened down. And then over here where I got this hood problem, I already have this hinge down as far as I can. I can't go any further. And just looking at this, it looks like it sloped more than that side. So if I have to, I'll build this up with Bondo. I don't want to, but first I'll try to raise that. Anyway, when I'm done, I'll show it. I just wanted to add this in. You know, I've had this car up in the air trying to put the flares on. It was a bitch. But all of a sudden, now that I'm working on this, I realized to put the flares on, you just reach right here. No problem. So, get your flares lined up. But I can get my hands in here, no problem. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. Okay, I built this up 3/16 with short hair fiberglass. I'll try it. I haven't really shaped it. Let's see how I did. I'm trying to get the same gap here and here. About that much room. Again, I can bring the hood in. It's a hair bigger here. So if I wanted to, I could just build it up a little bit more. Real close. Maybe that's why it wasn't right. Well, it wasn't tight down here. There's about 3/16 gap when I do that. Same, so it's good. It's the only way I could figure it out. So everything's lined up now. Except for this. I gotta decide what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to shave some of this down And then make some fiberglass with resin and put it on there and let it dry. Then I'll do the back. There's no way I can figure this out any other way. But there's the passenger side. Driver's side. Driver's door. Still got to do a little bit of work up in here. I haven't decided how to do that. Passenger side. So as far as I'm concerned, it's lined up the best I can get it. Just have to do the nose, then I can move on to something else. But I'll tell you, anything is better than working on these freaking flares. I hated that. Because the wheel flares aren't so bad, but the dam, the wind dam, or now I forget the name of it. That sucked. That's a piece of junk. But I made it work.